And here we go on a Saturday night. Hi, everybody. Carson Meredith with you. It is 7:05, almost 7:06. It is February, the 8th? February 8th. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend so far. Hope you haven't let the rain and the gloomy skies get you down. Obviously, the reason you all are here tonight is for that snow chance on Tuesday. And that's what we will spend a lot of time talking about tonight, of course. But we're not totally done with tonight's system just yet. We still got a few heavier downpours in our southern counties, and I'm still watching that little band of heavier rain just to make sure it behaves here over the next hour or so. So I'll mention that real quick first, and then we'll get into that snow chance on Tuesday. So let's see who's watching tonight. Gary says hello on YouTube. Not much rain today where he was at, but it sure was gloomy. Indeed it was. A lot of clouds today. Shonda says good evening from Jeff. Kathy says good evening. Let's see. Clara's watching on Facebook. Let's see some snow. Don't get your hopes too high. There will be snow Tuesday, but our concern for a winter storm is dropping. I will say that. I never expected it to be the likes of what we had back in January, but it's not going to be a significant snowstorm where everybody's stuck at home for days on end, which is a good thing for most of us, I suppose. Craig says hello. How's that snow chance? Says Storm Chaser Jason. Stand by. We're getting there, I promise. Let's do a few shout outs. Kathy says rainy and chilly today. Indeed. Eli says, hey, from Crestwood. Ellen's watching in Highview. Carla's in Carrollton. Anita says, good evening. Hope you are well. I am. Thank you. Please tell us no snow. Not everybody's going to get snow. Not everybody's going to get snow on Tuesday. But some will, and it could accumulate. Let me get you outside to E-Town first off tonight on the SkyTrack camera. Had a pretty good dose of heavy rain roll through during our 6 o'clock newscast on the old school TV side of things as that cold front swept through. And you can really tell that cold front is moving through. Here in Louisville, we've got it to 62 around 5:15 this evening, and now we're down to 53. So that colder air not wasting any time moving in, and that breeze out of the west and northwest adding an extra chill as that colder air returns. Here's radar. Again, this narrow line right through here. So from Bowling Green to Lexington, basically. That's the cold front. That is the cold front. And we got so warm today in central and southern Kentucky that I'm still watching it. Watching this line of rain, that is, to make sure that it doesn't perk up a little bit and maybe produce some gusty winds or a few rumbles of thunder. Haven't seen it so far. Obviously, it's breezy, but I haven't seen anything just yet with this little band that we're watching starting to move through our southeastern counties. So if you are north of that line, if you're in this zone that I'm circling right now, any gusty wind threat is done. Still breezy, but a gusty winds from any storms. That threat's done. And more than anything else, you just got some drizzle and colder air moving in. So southern Indiana, you're good to go. Louisville, Hardinsburg, Brandenburg, LaGrange, Carrollton, no issues at all. But we will watch this line, and I know you want to know about the snow. I'm getting there, I promise. Just don't want to ignore what we're seeing down here. Little band of heavier rain moving now into Taylor County, northern Greene County, right over Mumfordville and Hart County, where we had that tornado back on Thursday morning. And this band is moving at a pretty good clip to the south and east. So if you are in Hart County, Greene, Taylor, and Adair counties through the next 60 minutes, through the next hour, just be on the lookout for this heavier band of rain rolling through. More than anything else, that's all it's going to be. Heavy rain the last 10 minutes, then you're done. Then the cold front is gone. But we'll watch it to make sure there's no more gusty winds or thunder or anything like that. There's virtually no severe weather risk. So just wanted to get that out of the way before we dive into the snow, all right? Big picture, where's that front? Right on top of us, moving through central Kentucky as we speak. That will get a move on even further to the south and east overnight. high pressure settling into our neck of the woods for the next couple of days. But it's going to stay cloudy and it's going to stay cool for your big plans for tomorrow. Obviously, we know what's happening tomorrow night, don't we? For tonight, 32 degrees. Yeah, those temperatures are crashing. But again, most of the moisture is gone before we get near freezing. So I'm not worried about any black ice or anything like that tonight. The wind will help to dry out the roadways a little bit as well. 32 is our forecast low Sunday morning here in the city, upper 20s elsewhere. And for your Super Bowl Sunday, whatever plans you might have, make sure you have a heavier coat with you. We keep the clouds around all day. It stays cool. Some of you could stay in the upper 30s tomorrow, especially in Indiana. Most of us will top out in the low 40s. So that's where things stand tonight and for the next couple of days. All right. I've kept you waiting too long. I'm going to have to make you wait a little bit more, I'm afraid. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. The alert day continues for Tuesday. We've got more specifics for you tonight. Not extremely specific, but we're heading in the right direction when it comes to getting those details nailed down for you. With the timing, with the precipitation types, and how much. We don't have an accumulation map just yet, but we've got a general idea of what's coming into play on Tuesday. So in 30 seconds, we got to pay some bills. I know, I'm sorry, but we got to pay the bills to keep the lights on. Here in 30 seconds, we will look ahead to our next dose of winter. That is the reason for our alert day on Tuesday. 30 seconds. All right, 30 seconds is up. We're here. We're back. Thanks for helping us pay the bills. Let's focus on the alert date now, shall we? Here's where things stand. We've got more confidence, as I mentioned before, the commercial break. We've got more confidence on the timing. We've got a little more confidence on precip types. And we feel a little bit better about the general accumulations that we might be looking at out of this, okay? The alert day continues for Tuesday, obviously. Most of us will see snow Tuesday. There's going to be a little part of southern Kentucky in our area, in wave country, that will see a mix, a rain-snow mix, or just a cold rain. That's down towards Hart, Greene, Taylor, and Adair County. Everybody else has a decent chance to see a quick little thumping of snow on Tuesday. Excuse me. This does not look like an all-day snow at this stage of the game. In fact, there are a lot of things working. Well, I got to be careful with all you Bots fans out there. There are a lot of things working in our favor when it comes to limiting the impacts with this snow on Tuesday. Number one, we're going to hover near the freezing mark through this whole thing. As the snow is coming down, a lot of you will be around 30, 31, 32 degrees. So that will keep the roads in manageable shape. I don't think roads will be impassable Tuesday, okay? So that's one thing that's working in our favor. Another is we will warm up through the day above freezing. So any snow that does accumulate is not going to last too terribly long. It's not going to be here for days on end. And number three, the ground is warm. The ground is warm because, what was it, Monday of last week, we got in the 70s, close to a record. A lot of us got into the 60s today. So the ground's pretty warm, which might mean that the roads, for the most part, could stay wet with only a few slick spots. And any accumulations would likely be on grass or the top of the car or things like that. We're going to keep the alert day in place, though, because of the timing. Some of the high resolution models are starting to see at least the early part of this snow on Tuesday. And, excuse me, there's better agreement tonight that most of this snow will fall Tuesday morning, during the Tuesday morning rush hour. So we'll keep the alert day in place because if snow is falling during the Tuesday morning rush hour, that's obviously when it's going to accumulate. And that's when we could see slick spots. That's when we could have lower visibilities. As far as who is going to see the most snow, it looks like those of you in the bluegrass across Kentucky have the best shot right now to see this snow Tuesday morning, okay? Southern Indiana, you could certainly see a few snow showers. It's just this system is kind of compressed. The moisture with it is compressed to where a lot of that moisture is going to stay primarily in Kentucky, especially south of Interstate 64 in particular. So that is something that we will keep watching as we go through the next couple of days. All right. Let's see. Botsman himself, Brian Good, is texting me. Hang on a second. Oh, goodness. So there has apparently been a major earthquake just in the last couple of minutes south of Cuba. Sorry, this was obviously not scripted. Let's see. Oh, wow. So we're getting reports that this earthquake measured an 8.0 magnitude. And officials are monitoring a possible tsunami threat for the east coast of the U.S. Goodness gracious. Just seeing that on Twitter here in the last few minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the rest of the evening. So, yeah, not a good situation. Major earthquake south of Cuba happened a little while ago. Thanks, Be Good, for pointing that out to me. Obviously, as we get more information, we'll let you know here on Wave Weather Now and all the other platforms as well. Let's keep going with the snow talk, because I know that's why a lot of you are here. Let's go to Futurecast. We'll start things off at 3 o'clock Tuesday morning. Most of the precipitation moves in after midnight. After midnight, Monday night, Tuesday morning, whatever you want to call it. This is 3 a.m. Now, for our friends in our far southern communities, Mumfordville, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia, initially, this looks like it would start as snow in our far southern counties, but that would not last long. That would last maybe an hour. And then that warm nose tries to nudge into that southern tier, and we'll eventually see that snow transition to a rain snow mix or all cold rain, plain rain. There does not appear to be a situation where this is going to be a significant freezing rain issue. So that's great. We don't want freezing rain or sleet or anything like that. That really doesn't look to be the case. There might be, and you'll get a better idea of it here in a second, but there's going to be a narrow line of a rain snow mix right on that battle line, if you will. But that's the extent of any freezing rain or sleet or anything like that. That risk just isn't there this time. But 3 o'clock Tuesday morning, that snow starting to move into our southern counties. Notice how that snow becomes a little more widespread, closer to the Ohio River, trying to sneak into southern Indiana. But if you're up near Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon, you may not see a lot of snow at all. Maybe a couple flurries, that's it. So most of us are going to see a few hours of snow. But look at the time, 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. So with this snow falling during the morning rush, that's obviously when it's going to be at the highest risk for accumulating. And that's why we could have some travel issues on Tuesday morning. So that's why we'll keep the alert day in place. However, look at the temperatures as well. Let me take it full screen so you can see it better. And then keep in mind, this is just one forecast model, but it would be 34 in Louisville, at least according to this particular model. But a lot of us are hovering around 31 or 32. So, you know, if this snow is falling heavy enough, it'll stick and potentially cause some slick roadways, especially bridges and overpasses. But as we mentioned, the ground's still pretty warm. And with these temperatures hovering near freezing, a lot of the accumulation is going to fall in the grass, on the top of the car, things like that, those elevated surfaces. So again, this does not look like a huge winter storm anymore. We thought it had that potential this past week. Not so much anymore, but it could still cause trouble for the Tuesday morning drive, especially in Kentucky, where that snowfall is expected to last the longest and maybe briefly heavy. I really think from I-64 down to Mumfordville and Campbellsville, that basically that area I just circled, that's going to be the zone, at least for now, where we see the highest snowfall totals out of this. Could still get a few snow showers, excuse me, up towards southern Indiana. They probably wouldn't last too terribly long, and there would not be as much accumulation up there. But look how quickly this moves out. So this is 7 a.m. By 1 o'clock, see ya. That's it, at least according to this one forecast model. And you notice once the snow moves out across the board, we are all above freezing Tuesday afternoon. So any snow that does stick, at least in the morning, briefly, will start to melt pretty quickly Tuesday afternoon. So again, this does not look like a huge winter storm, but the timing is not good if it moves through Tuesday morning during the rush. So that's why the alert day will continue at this stage of the game. Let me check the comments. Braden asks, could this warrant a winter weather advisory? It could, and I honestly think there probably will be one. I'm not going to say who or how long or what the Weather Service might say. That's not my job. But I think there's a decent chance that we'll see a winter weather advisory for parts of our region Tuesday morning out of this. Amy's a fan. Oh, where's Amy's comment? There it is. Yay, bring it on. Bring it on. Let's see. Danny says, looks to be a pretty picture winter weather advisory snow. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a nice looking snow, but again, it's not going to last long. And I'm hopeful, I don't want to take this to the bank, but I'm hopeful that the roads will stay above freezing to keep most of the major roads just wet with a couple of slick spots. But I don't want to bank on that. I still think there'll be some trouble Tuesday morning. If it's not because of slick roads, it's because of visibility with the snow coming down while everybody's heading to work or school, right? Well, at least hopefully all the kiddos are getting back to school. So many are sick right now. It's awful. Let's see. Wow. Adam says no more snow for me up in Bloomington. Oh, man. Okay, now it makes sense, Adam. Basketball problems up there in Bloomington. Yeah, don't want any more problems. I get it. Fair enough. So that's where things stand for Tuesday. We do not have a snowfall map yet. I'm going to get that out tomorrow. I'll look over the overnight data, tonight's data, overnight as well. Might have a snowfall map tomorrow morning on sunrise. If not, it'll be tomorrow evening There will be a snowfall map tomorrow, so stay tuned. But this is where things stand now for Tuesday. And you could really say Tuesday morning at this point, but I want to give us a little wiggle room in case the timing shifts a little bit. This is the most impactful precipitation that you're going to see at your house on Tuesday. This is not saying you're going to be snowed in. This is not saying that you're going to get a foot of snow, because nobody is out of this, at least in our area. This is just giving you a general idea of what type of precipitation you're going to see the most, and for during the morning when everybody's getting out, right? Most of us will see snow. I'll say from Paoli to Salem to Scottsburg and Madison, Indiana, point south towards Mumfordville and Campbellsville, Lebanon. So a good chunk of the region is going to see primarily snow out of this. I mentioned there's not much of an ice threat, thankfully. But wherever that rain-snow line sets up, that's where we will see more of a mix than anything else. And it looks like right now that would set up right over Hart, Greene, and Taylor County. Mumfordville, Horse Cave, Greensburg, Campbellsville. Might see more of a mix than anything else. And then down towards Adair County, Bowling Green, likely just going to see rain, cold rain out of this. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Pretty straightforward, at least for now. Obviously, things can still change in the next 48 hours or so. Will this be the last time we get snow this year? We'll see. I don't think we're done yet. I do not think we're done by a long shot, because it is trending a little colder for the rest of February. Not like, extreme cold, but cold to where we could have a few snow chances to watch. Let's see. Is Wednesday going to be better than Tuesday? Not really, Anita. Not really, and I'll explain why in a second. Tommy says, Carrollton going to get any snow? There will be a few snow showers up towards Carrollton, but I don't see a lot of accumulations up in your part of the world, Tommy. So hope that makes sense. All right, talking about Wednesday. Well, one system moves out Tuesday. Here comes another on Wednesday. Right now, this looks like all rain, largely rain. I don't want to say all rain just yet. I don't want to say that. Got to catch myself. This looks like mostly rain Wednesday at this point. The models have trended warmer today, and they've kind of got this entire system a little further north, which would keep a lot of the wintry stuff up near Indianapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. But we don't need any more rain. And we're going to get a good soaking rain on Wednesday, and then maybe more rain next weekend. I'll show you on the 10-day in a minute. But you see there's at least that chance still, especially north of the Ohio River this time, for perhaps some of that moisture to wrap around the backside of this system Wednesday night and Thursday morning, the second system, to maybe give us a brief rain-snow mix or perhaps a few flurries. All flurries Thursday morning, mainly in southern Indiana. If that happens, it doesn't look like it would be a huge deal at this point, but it's something we will keep an eye on for Thursday morning. But more than anything else, that system is going to be a lot of rain, and there's more rain to come. Here comes the 10-day. Next Saturday, 1 week from today, another wave of widespread soaking rain. There's going to be areas south of our region, so like Tennessee, Alabama in particular, that could see at least 4 to 6 inches of rain over the next week. That would cause huge flooding concerns down there. Right here in Wave Country, I think we're looking at several inches of rain as well, especially with those Wednesday and Saturday systems. So we're going to have to watch flooding. River flooding especially, because a lot of the creeks and rivers are already running high from snow melt and from the rains we've had recently. So it won't take much to cause more flooding issues in the next 7 to 10 days. But we'll get through it. We always do. What questions do we have before we wind this down tonight? DJ King says, can this system shift north or south? Yes, absolutely it can. The question remains, will it? And that's kind of a wait and see situation. But I will say there's been better agreement among the data the last couple of days, really going back to yesterday, where the track and precip types and things like that, we've got better agreement. We've had it for the last 24 hours or so. But there could still be shifts. If anything, there's been some slight southern shifts with the moisture with this system. If that trend keeps happening, keeps going further south, we're going to have that moisture get cut off further and further south. So there's still plenty of room for adjustments in the days ahead. Good question. Angela's watching. Any chance of a long dry spell so the soggy ground can get a chance to dry out completely? Not necessarily. I guess it depends on what you mean by a long dry spell. If you're talking like a week, no. If you're not, definitely don't see anything like that anytime soon. Could we get, 2 or 3 days at a time? Perhaps, but this is a very active, unsettled pattern that's going to be with us for a while. So soggy yards are going to be a problem for quite some time, and those creeks and rivers will be too. I'm a little concerned about that flooding potential as we get towards next weekend. So we'll keep an eye on it. Ashley says, is Bedford getting any snow? Doesn't look like it. Not on Tuesday. Maybe a few flurries. That's it. I think snow will be hard to come by up near Bedford and Seymour and North Vernon. Braden's asking about alert days for flooding. It depends on if we see very heavy rain, especially with that Saturday system. I think that system next Saturday's got more of a heavy rain concern with it at this stage of the game. So if there's any alert days for flooding, watch next Saturday. Wednesday is just going to be a steady soaking rain, but Saturday might be a little heavy. So we'll watch it. Carla says, somebody wake me up when spring arrives and the weather is somewhat steady. It's always up and down this time of year. Well, it's always up and down all the time in wave country, but especially in February. Can you make this go away? I wish, but kind of just got to deal with what we're given, right? That's all I can do. Brandon's asking about Jeffersonville Tuesday. There could be my early gut feeling is maybe a coating in Jeffersonville. But again, the better accumulation chances are going to be across Kentucky, south of Louisville in particular at the time, or for the time being. Danny asks, who you got for the Super Bowl? I've been a Chiefs bandwagon fan for a few years now, but I'm ready for a change. I'm going the Eagles. I think it'll be a good game. I hope it'll be a good game. So, yeah. I've never really cheered for the Eagles my whole life until tomorrow night. So, give me the Eagles. What's up with the lack of flood advisories? Well, Brandon, that's a good question. That's really not our wheelhouse because we don't issue alerts of any kind, only alert days, just to tell you guys, hey, the weather's going to be impactful this day or that day. But we don't issue severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings. That's not our job. And we don't want that job. Keep in mind, a lot of those flood advisories, especially for rivers, are based on how high or how low the river is. Some rivers are able to hold a little more water than others. I know the Rolling Fork River, there's a flood warning right now because it's running out of its banks just a little bit. So it all depends on how much the river can hold, where the measuring sites are at and what kind of impacts it has on the roads nearby or the fields or things like that. So hope that makes sense. Braden says, never seen a tsunami threat for the East Coast. Yeah, I haven't either. It's a little concerning. Let me check Twitter real quick again. Let's see. The Weather Service in San Juan, Puerto Rico says there's a tsunami advisory for the Puerto Rican island. But there are no alerts. Okay, let's make this clear. There is a tsunami advisory for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. There are no tsunami alerts, none, for the mainland U.S. So there's that. But goodness. I'm hearing there's some conflicting 7.6. Okay, they revised it. So originally it was a magnitude 8 earthquake south of Cuba. Happened about an hour ago, it looks like. They revised it down to a 7.6. Still significant. I mean, that's big. But it's some improvement, I guess. I'm worried about what we're going to hear out of Cuba when it comes to damage, because it looks like the epicenter was pretty close to the island. Forgive me. Sorry for the silence. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any info on this. Oh, goodness gracious. 2025 just keeps on going, doesn't it? Let's see. Let me see if I can give this to you guys in a map. Hang on a minute. Go to radar first, and then I'll see if I can pull up an earthquake map. That band of showers, by the way, has not strengthened. So if you're down in Green, Taylor, Dare County, get ready for some heavy rain that lasts about 10 minutes. And then you'll be good to go here in about an hour. Let's see. Might not be able to find it on the fly. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. All right. Let's go down to the Caribbean. There it is. So this was let's see, 7.6. I'm looking at the information behind the scenes. Forgive me. 7.6 earthquake around 6:23 local time. I think that's same time as us. So about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago. You can already see a couple of aftershocks out of this. So this will obviously be a developing story that continues to play out through the rest of this evening and tonight. Of course, we will have as much information as we possibly can for you coming up tonight on Wave News at 11 about this. But a pretty frightening situation in the Caribbean tonight. Again, there's no threat of a tsunami in the mainland United States. None. However, there is an alert or tsunami advisory for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but nothing for the mainland U.S. So that is some good news. No comment about 2025. I'm telling you, if it's not one thing, it's another. Let's see. Joshua is disappointed that it's not going to be a winter storm on Tuesday. Now, look, it could be a good snow for those of you south of Louisville. The problem is it's not going to last too long. In other words, it's going to melt pretty quick. And it may not stick. It may only stick on trees and the grass and elevated surfaces. So we're going to keep the alert day in place, though, because it's moving in Tuesday morning when a lot of you are trying to get to work and school. So it could be impactful. Could certainly be impactful. Let me get to the 10-day real quick before we wrap this up. Again, we'll keep a close eye on anything that comes out of the situation down in the Caribbean. Tara asks, Henry County getting snow or rain Tuesday morning? It will be snow. It will be snow. Henry County is pretty far north on the northern side of this system, so it will likely be snow showers, maybe a coating for Henry County. And sometime tomorrow, it's hard to say when because I got to see how the data plays out, but sometime tomorrow we will have a snowfall map with this spot gets however many inches and all that good stuff. Okay. All right. So that's going to do it for tonight. Again, stay with us here on Wave Online and on TV. I'm sure we'll have as much information as we possibly can on what's happening down in the Caribbean tonight at 11. You can also watch our updated forecast tonight on Wave News at 11. With the Super Bowl on tomorrow evening, we will do an update here on Wave Weather Now. Just because it's the Super Bowl, I'm not going to quit doing these updates. It's going to be during halftime. Okay. It's going to be during halftime. So my guess would be around 8 o'clock. We'll do another update here during halftime. We'll do a Wave Weather Now halftime show tomorrow night. We hope you will tune in then and enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll watch Tuesday closely. We'll have an updated snowfall map for you sometime tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And of course, we will keep a very close eye on what's happening down in the Caribbean. Scary situation down there tonight. All right, that's it for now, guys. Appreciate you watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to y'all later. Good night.